Shalom, Salama, Siemi, Shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world. Whether you're the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, I welcome you this morning. This is, to me, a very fine day. This is a day that Yahuwah has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Now, the Most High made the day, and now we have to choose how we go about in that day. If we believe that the Most High made a day for us to rejoice and be glad in it, so what we're doing is we're doing an action because we're trusting that the Most High's word will not come back void. We're trusting that the Most High's word is something that will meet the test of time. And really, it has. Because when we're seeing all these things happening, right now, we're seeing his word being fulfilled. And as we're seeing his word being fulfilled, there's a lot of dynamics that we have to really consider. And these dynamics searches the heart and the soul. Because a lot of these dynamics they have been so fundamentally ingrained in our hearts and in our souls that when the Most High is doing something new, we don't know how to respond, generally speaking. Shout out to Brother Yakoba last night. I was trying to make the live, but I wanted to listen from the beginning, so I lagged for about an hour. during one of the meetings that I had with Quest Unite Africa, we were talking to the grant writers. Shout out to the grant writers. If you do grants or things of that nature, definitely please let us know, because right now we have been able to do quite a lot of things. It's just how that happens. Look, I don't come here and toot my own horn and say, "Look, if I can do it, you can do it." This and that. No, it took a lot for me to get here to really trust our Heavenly Father. It took a lot for me to really be broken down to where I understood how to reach my hand out. I'm not the type of person that likes to ask for help, because I've grown up to where it was, if you have both hands, both feet, you have a mouth, you have a mind that works, and you can do something. If you are still in your right mind, if you can still see, then you're able to do something. We've grown up that, the Most High blesses those who help themselves. See, what we tend to forget is we are a community of people, because what they've tried to build is an individualistic society, to where it's you, and only you. You get ahead, you do, you do you. And it's actually totally opposite than what the Most High had declared for his people. We're learning junk education. And now, when they get older, then they say, well, now we need to know how to do things as a team. And then they give you team education and the adult learning model and everything else. No, you learn together as a people because you grow together. You understand together. You empathize together. You sympathize together. We have been an individualistic society, and now the trust that we have in this society, now the Most High is destroying their foundations, which means that ultimately the trust in this society is being destroyed. The trust that they have in all their institutions is being destroyed. Will my bank allow me to access money? If you don't believe that is a topic that people are dealing with right now, please understand the case study that Brother Oral and I had to go through when we were just doing Cash App so we could even send Michael over to Tanzania with a plane ticket and with some money in his pocket. Oh, you can't do this. You can't do that. Oh, you just had this. You had that. Everything that they were trying to do to detract us from spending money. Wait. We collected this for this specific purpose. I don't care. Because you have to understand in this society, as this society continues to collapse, and it's a collapsing society. I don't care what you want to say to tell me any different. Because we can bring up scholarly material. I'm learning as much as I can before this thing collapses. I'm working and doing as much as I can before it's time to bounce. And there will be a time where we won't just bounce, we'll be bounced out. We'll be told to leave out. Because why? Because, as I had said this before, America imports everything that they eat, that they drink. It's been an import nation. And now that the noose is tightening around America's neck, there's certain things that are not able to function. Yeah, exactly. Brother William Smithers, exactly. All of a sudden, reducing access to money. Well, in a purely unspiritual assessment, we would say, well, there's nothing wrong with that. There's just some things that are going on. There may be just some maintenancing that has created, this and that. Okay. I mean, that may be viable. But now when you start to understand the full extent and you couple together what's been happening around the world, you start to realize what it is that's been happening. Because the scriptures are showing, the scriptures are proving, and people tend to get scared because what the Most High says is what he means. So now they're scrambling in the hopes that what people have taken for granted as a fairy tale book, as a book of good lessons and things of that nature, will be a dead book. But the problem is, our Elohim is alive, and so is his word. That when his word goes out, it accomplishes all that is set out to accomplish, and none return in vain. See, the great thing is, as his people that are waking up, that are asking these questions, that are looking, the what the word says. I don't like to say, we're waking up and we're woke, because they wanted to throw that connotation on out there. I like to go back to what the book of Enoch says, that we're a blind sheep. We're a blind sheep. And now we're living in an age where some of the sheep are able to see, some of the sheep are half blind, and some of the sheep are still blinded. And those sheep that were able to see, they were able to shout for help, because they were able to see the wolves and the ravenous birds devouring their brethren, which were other sheep. We're in a society where we don't even realize, most of our people don't even realize, they're being steadily devoured. See, as we have been able to shout, our other brethren have been able to listen. And that's the brethren on the continent. And they're waking up in droves. Go and look at the Congo. Why do you think that that nation was always the target of conflict and being conflict ridden? And now they're starting to ask those questions themselves. Why are we in this? Who brought us to this? Why do the nations delight in our destruction? These are the hard questions that's being asked. As those questions are being asked on the continent, the questions that's being asked here, particularly in America, we're asking how long does this nation have? And we usually ask that prophetically speaking. Who are wise men? Who are our scholars that can understand and discern the times? Who can do it? Or do we just get the same topical solution that they have tried to place and say, hey, take this ointment, rub this ointment, and it's going to be better. Well, we've started to realize that they're giving us pig grease instead of Neosporin because nothing's healing. The infection has set in. And now a doctor is needed because now major surgery has to be performed because now sepsis and everything else has kicked in because the pig grease was not doing its job as an antiseptic, as a cleanser of sorts. It wasn't the bomb. Now the infection has spread because the lie couldn't get covered up, and it's not able to get covered up. Don't believe me? Look what the governor of Florida just did and what he just signed. And I'm not going to go into specifics with that because I live in Florida, but you have to understand, instead of repentance, go ahead and go for the pen. No, the pen is not mightier than the most high sword. All I could see was, yeah, this place is about to get slain real good. In my mind, I always believed that the invasion, that a no kidding physical land invasion, a breaching invasion, would be in the state. And the reason I say that is because of Cuba. So I look at these mannerisms, and all I can say is they know that they don't have time left. So all they want to do is create some sort of shack or shanty construction that's really not even holding together. Because if you can't beat us with the word, with scripture, with truth, then all they do is they go to the pen to war against us with their lies. And now the whole world sees it. And I'm glad that they're doing that because it's showing the whole world what they've done. We're not just sitting here by our lonesome. This is what I was trying to explain to you all, family. The world sees what's going on, and now they're gearing up. Fighting a war doesn't just go overnight. Yep, we're ready to go. No, it takes a lot of time to mobilize forces. You see how long it's taken for not even 10% of our people to be awakened? And if they've awakened, how they don't want to talk about that they're awakened? Because, see, the trust isn't in man, it's in the Most High. We are in a lot of gates here. Do you trust in the Most High to keep his word? And then we have to trust in our people. Can we trust in our people for them to keep their word? For them to see that they are walking, talking, moving, living, breathing what this word is saying. That's why I told you this, family, a month ago. If I would have said, I need your help, I need your support, I need this, I need that, I would have been very, very cautious. And I was. And I still am. Well, what do you need from me? What's what can I get? What do I get out of the deal? Listen, I'm just doing what the Most High is instructing Michael or myself to do. And that has created a snowball effect that our folks, because they believe in the Most High, they want to do something. Because why? It's not something that we do, nor do we glory in. It's His word. It's His time. Well, I'll just sit here and I'll wait and I'll just do this. Okay, that's fine. United we stand, divided we fall. Even this nation had enough sense to understand that. Even the heathens and the Gentiles understand how to build up to be able to not just stand, but withstand calamity. And now, as a divided people, they're getting ready to fall. and their fall is here because you want to know why? Everybody that is putting their trust in a failed banking institute. Yes, it's failed. And they know it's failed because of all the debt that they have allowed to build up. This debt is not going anywhere. And now the nations are calling them in their debt. How are you going to pay $31 trillion back? Okay, you don't want to pay me? I'm going to take some of your land. I'm going to take some of your property. I'm going to take some of your assets. Oh, and by the way, that includes taking their people. How's this balkanization process going to look? Well, I believe in America. I trust in America. I'm just now in Mexican feder the Mexican how would they have that? Protectorate of the United States. I'm in the MP USA. I'm in the EUP USA. I'm in the CP USA. I'm in the CAP USA, the China Protectorate USA, and then the Canadian Protectorate of the United States, respectively. When they try to tell you that there's no worries with the banks and these banks are failing, that's because there's worry because there's no supply going into those banks. They're based on loans too, and they can't sell their loans fast enough. Nobody's buying their loans. So guess what? When you have more debt than what people have on their statements, that's a recipe for failure. That's finance 101. Matter of fact, that's home economics. You can't pay your bills, they're going to come for your stuff. You can't pay for your rent or your mortgage, you're going to be kicked out your home. And now everything here is skyrocketing. And now people are trying to understand what is really the true value. Why is everything skyrocketing? Because everything now has to be super inflated because why? Because you are not supposed to leave. They want you here to be able to meet the new leadership, to meet the new management. If you have a means to leave, then folks are taking that and they're going. They don't want to see what that new management looks like. Our people, we're a little different because now we understand that there is a place and a people on the African continent that want us back. Our countries want us back because why? Because the lies have been exposed and now they understand what we've been through and really what we shielded. Have they been able to completely run ramshot on us? Then those African nations. would be in a much worse devastation. We were taking the brunt of the beatings. And with that, there was animosity. And now, with that animosity, there was jealousy because we truly didn't understand the lies that the nations on the continent were being fed. They didn't know how this commercialism, because the Western world, the Western power structures did a great job keeping us blinded on both sides. And that spiritual blindness was something that we just ate up. And the problem is, in a nation where we're still traumatized, you can't heal. Go ahead and heal. When you're afflictor, when you're oppressor, it's right outside your door. There's no healing. And so we can't heal because we're still in the midst of being afflicted. I wish I could heal, but you still have a knee on my neck and you're telling me that I need to heal. That doesn't work. Why aren't you healing? We need you to heal so you can turn around and tell these nations everything's good, everything's all right. Oh, and tell them that George Floyd never happened so we can get back to 2019. I need you to tap dance. Yes, some balls, weaves, do that. Where my boule? My boule. You're not tap dancing enough. You're not singing enough concerts. You're not dribbling the ball enough. You're not scoring enough touchdowns. You're not telling enough jokes. You're not selling enough images. Why are your lies no longer to have the efficacy? Then we can't pay you what you were used to being paid with your wages. We're all in the same sinking ship. You could still save us, though. You all are still the good slaves. Never mind those other people that read the word, that understand who your Elohim is. You could stay with us and we can all be destroyed together. Never mind that pesky Russian Ukrainian conflict when it gets here, if it gets here, but we know that when it gets here, we'll be okay and we'll destroy them and keep our way of life at all cost as you fight for us. And we'll sit here and ask when it's done. You let us know when you defeated them so we can put the collar back on your neck. We can put the chains back on your minds. We'll take that credit. We'll take that victory. Except there will not be any victory found. Except the word says something and states something different for Babylon. See, it's a hard truth reading Jeremiah 50 and 51. At that time, when the Vatican and Rome and all the other folks didn't take it on out, they really couldn't understand it at that time because they didn't see themselves there. They couldn't have seen themselves because prophetically speaking, it wasn't that time yet. They were not in the time of the end. And now they're at the time of the end. Now they stay away from Jeremiah 50 and 51. I've never seen a Eurocentric pastor. I don't think I've ever seen a Eurocentric pastor ever touch on Jeremiah 50 and 51. Oh, we don't want to read Obadiah, and we certainly don't want to read Joel chapter 3. But why are these Negroes reading this? Why are these black folks reading this? Because we know who our Elohim is. We know what our Heavenly Father says. And as we know those things, see, our trust is built up in the actions of what the Most High does. It's built up in the actions of what he does to move the nations into place. See, for us, our trust was really, it had really taken off February 24th of 2022. Let's just be honest, family. On February 24th of 2022, we literally stopped the debates. Stop debating. Well, don't you want to listen to us? Don't you want to say why you're not the people? Don't you want to understand why you're not the people of the book? Don't you want to and all we did was point to a place on the map in Eastern Europe. And all we could say is, well, what do you think about this? What do you say about that? Oh, well, that's nothing. We don't do anything. We don't have this. We don't do that. Remember, they're adamant. Oh, we're not in there. We're not in Ukraine. Lo and behold, they can't say that anymore. As a matter of fact, they just admitted to it last week. You're not going to have a proxy war without intervention from those proxies. The testing ground. Will our conventional weapons hold? And if they don't hold, then we'll just say, well, they were just the old stuff anyway. We got the good stuff and yada, yada, yada. And to me, I don't buy that narrative. What I do believe is, this is me personally speaking, whatever they could do in that proxy did not hold the weight, and it wasn't very successful for the West. Because if it was successful, if it was holding weight, then guess what? You would be hearing it, but you want to know what they did for 2 or 3 weeks? They had that on blackout in Western media. In Western media, they had it on blackout. No, we don't want you to know how we are losing, why we're losing. But we knew it was going to come to this. They won't tell you how bad those things got. Why would they? See, what it is that as the lies are being exposed, their foundation is crumbling. My question is then if you know that these lies are being exposed and their foundation's crumbling, then what are you talking about? Well, my investments. Let me explain this thing to you because I don't think a lot of folks truly understood what happens when a nation collapses. You'll only get your pennies on the dollars if it's able to really reconstitute. And some may not even get anything ever again. There were people in Iraq that were starving. They had to bring in the NGOs and all sorts of charity organizations to be able to feed folks. They had money and monetary value, but it was pretty much worthless. I have some Iraqi dinars that I purchased when I was in Jordan. Back in the day, the monetary value of that compared to the US dollar was worth about $400 for that 100 dinar note. Now, it's not even worth the paper that it was printed on. And that's literal. So we have to be mindful of where we put our trust. See, the Most High is destroying the trust in this nation. This is why folks are going crazy. Isaiah 27. In that day, Yahuwah with his sore and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, that crooked serpent shall he slay, the dragon that is in the sea. In that day, singing unto her a vineyard of red wine. I, Yahuwah, do keep it. I will water it every moment, lest any hurt it. I will keep it night and day. Fury is not in me. Who would set the briars and thorns against me in battle? I would go through them, I would burn them together, or let him take hold of my strength, that he may make peace with me, and he shall make peace with me. He shall cause them that come of Jacob to take root. Israel shall blossom and bud, and fill the face of the world with fruit. What are we doing, family? Y'all understand what time it is. Hallelujah. Isaiah 27:7. Hath he smitten him as he smote those that smote him? Or is he slain according to the slaughter of them that are slain by him? In measure when it shooteth forth, thou wilt debate with it. When we're going back and we're back in our land, we're going to be asking ourselves, was this the recompense of the Most High for the generations of our family that had been slain? This is exactly what the scripture is stating. We're going to be debating this. Did he take out all them folks, and was that the same amount of people that we had been taken out by them? Our Elohim is not to be played with. Do you see this, family? This is the scripture right here. In measure, this is Isaiah 27:8. In measure, when it shooteth forth, thou wilt debate with it. He stayeth his rough wind in the day of the east. By this, therefore, shall the iniquity of Jacob be purged. And this is all the fruit to take away his sin. When he maketh all the stones of the altar as chalk stones that are beaten in sunder, the grove and images shall not stand up. Yet the defenced city shall be desolate, and the habitation forsaken, and left like a wilderness. There shall the calf feed, and there shall he lie down, and consume the branches thereof. When the boughs thereof are withered, they shall be broken off. The women come and set them on fire, for it is a people of no understanding. Therefore, he that made them will not have mercy on them, and he that formed them will show them no favor. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall beat off from the channel of the river unto the stream of Egypt, and ye shall be gathered one by one, O ye children of Yasharel. And it shall come to pass in that day that the great trumpet shall be blown, and they shall come which were ready to perish in the land of Assyria, and the outcasts in the land of Egypt, and shall worship Yahuwah in the holy mountain at Jerusalem. There's a trust that we're building. Because I believe when those scriptures say that Yahuwah shall gather them one by one, I believe that that's that trust that's being established. That trust to gather, that trust to come to Him, that trust to move to Him. So, where you being gathered to? That He said that He's going to gather you one by one, and you're just going to sit in those nations and still trust in those nations? No, you're going to be gathered one by one, and you're going to be gathered with your people. You're going to be gathered with Jacob. You're going to be gathered as Israel. It's a process of time. This was not going to be an overnight fix for hundreds of years of devastation. In order to be, in order to even receive help, you have to first realize that you've been beaten, that you've been persecuted, that you've been oppressed. A lot of our people don't even understand how that worked. You know, the it's a for me personally speaking, I know the Most High was doing a work with me because as I've helped Brother Oral and Brother Michael to start Quest to Unite Africa, this was something that and and I realize and I'm seeing it's taking a lot of patience. But I knew I had to get to this moment. I had to learn from this moment, or I had to learn as I got to this moment because I had to understand what the Most High was doing. I had to understand how He was building me up for this time. And see, we often think that the way that we are built up in this Babylonian system, we have to do it like this. We have to go like that. We have to emulate. And you want to know what? The Most High, what He did, what Yah did, He threw all that away. Because to be honest, I said, Father, I don't know how I'm going to get this done because, well, there's no company, there's no organization. I don't have people on the payroll. I don't have people that I can direct. I don't have this. We always try to think that we have to have a semblance or a measure of control. And I understood. I said, thank you, Father. This wasn't going to be a semblance or a measure of control. This was going to be a test of faith and trust. Do I trust my Heavenly Father? Do I trust Him enough that he's going to pull through because, for this venture, there's no paid folks on staff. Are you doing your job? Are you doing what you're paid to do? Nobody's paid to do anything. Hallelujah. But it's really being able to see the vision and then being able to work towards that. And as we've done so, we sent Brother Michael abroad. Now Brother Michael is back. We've gotten contacts and are in the process of establishing more business contacts in more countries. And we're so careful about making sure that we give the Most High praise that we have little arguments about making sure we have the we give the Most High praise because no one wants to have any flesh derail what the Most High is doing. So I'm going to open up the phone lines today, the live stream lines. I'm going to limit this to a couple of minutes because I still have plenty of work I still have to do. Because, there's a lot that has to still be done. Shout out to Big Red, Coach Roebuck, Sister Christine, Brother Garth Yehuda, Brother JS, Brother Brian, and all the folks that have contributed to getting this website up and running because so you see the website as the front facing. There's also a back end that we're building up. So when you sign up, you'll have access to the Zoom recordings, and then you'll be able to see the campaigns that we're doing. There's a process to this. There's a mission, and then when you log in, then you can see how things are being done. How you can volunteer your time. Because now volunteering your time counts. And we'll have more details on that. Because, see, it's awesome to see the moves that the Most High is making amongst his people. I don't have the power to do anything except for what he's called me to do. If he wants me to move on, then I'll move on. If he wants me to be here, then I'm here. But family, I'm just going to say this. It has truly been amazing and remarkable to see everything that he has been able to do. This is a case study for business. Well, I did this all myself. I was like, I see the vision. No, that's what the heathens do. I didn't do this all myself. I did it with the Most High's help, who put people in the path that were like minded to be able to come together. I got my auntie on the line. My auntie from Lake Wales.
Parents,
Sister
I'm
Betty
not old
Bent.
enough to be your auntie. Stop. You can say my sister, but you cannot call me auntie. Oh
All right,
no.
Sister Betty. All right, Sister
It's
Betty
good
Bent. That,
enough.
she'd be an older. She would be an older sister. Yeah, that is. All right, Sister Betty.
I'll be your older sister now. I ain't gonna be your auntie.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
But
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this before Sister Betty gets started. Well, we went to her cafe in Lake Wales. The setup was beautiful. Nice handmade wood. The nice African paintings. You know what, Sister Betty? I was going to ask you. We need to get in touch with that with your artist, because
yeah,
we need to do like an auction. That would be one of those
Mm,
things. We have an auction event.
yeah.
mm.
Yes,
Real nice guy.
absolutely. Mhm.
But I'll send you his name. I'll send you his name because he's on Facebook.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'll give you the full name.
Yeah, hallelujah. Yeah, brother Oil and I, we took the trip, went down. So where she's at is about an hour. Yeah, it's about an hour from me.
Yeah,
And from, actually it's a little closer, because I came north. I came from the north heading south, so it took a little bit longer. But
yeah.
where I'm at from Tampa, it's about a little less than an hour. Yeah, I can get there actually pretty easily. But yeah, but brother Oral and I, we got on out there. I had salmon. Brother Oil's a vegan, so he had an awesome vegan dish that looked good. That even looked appealing to me. I said, all right, but that salmon was amazing, family, and it's fresh, and it was prepared, the way that our body. Look, I'm gonna tell you this. I had no problems. I felt better, because usually I'm like, I would get hit with the itis, especially after eating and driving. You know, no, it was light. It was filling, but it was light. So yeah, so to show folk, look, I may be on YouTube, but I'm still a real person. I'm still a real life boy. No, I'm just so I was able to make sure that my AI skin was, appropriately toned as a black person. No, just
Mm.
oh man, no, but yeah, but it's funny because we all share the same similarities and experiences, especially with our family, because as I was explaining to Sister Betty, my on my grandmother's side, they were all up in her area, her neck of the woods of Polk, Osceola, Orange, right down to Indian and Fort Pierce County, as seasonal workers, basically as pickers. They were them. And our family back in, like, I believe, the 60s, 70s, they finally settled down. But there's also the family rumors of owning home or excuse me, owning land in Orange County that have been duped. So the name of that restaurant is Oregon, Orgen, D''Nal, Denal, Oregon Denal.
Or
Is
Jen. Or
excuse me,
Jen.
Orgen,
Denal.
Orgen, Orgen Denal.
Yes.
So yeah, so go ahead, Sister Betty. Go ahead.
Shalom, family. Shalom to everybody that's on the panel, giving the Most High all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory. And just know, Caris, that you may not know it all the time, but I know each and every last
Yeah, she's going out.
prayers daily. And I'm talking about, I don't forget about y'all. I don't stop thinking about everything that we all are doing as a community right now. I know a lot of people like, oh, I'm not sure if they're gonna make it or this is gonna happen. No, I know it's gonna make it. I know it's gonna happen. Because it was dropped down in my discernment about what you and Brother Orr and Brother Michael even started, and just to be even included in something like this movement, it's just I'm more than happy. I'm ecstatic with joy for what the Most High is allowing you guys to do. And I just look at you guys and I'm just amazed that one day you just woke up and just decided like, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's just amazing. I mean, you may not see the amazing move that the Most High has allowed you guys to do, but trust me, know for an surety that it is an amazing move by the Most High Yah, what He's doing in you guys. It really is. So don't count it as a small measure. No, this is big time because you're not just doing it for yourselves, you're doing it for the community. You're laying a ground, you're laying ground and foundation down for a group, a nation, a nation. We are a nation that was a nation. We never came together as a real whole nation. And if you realize what you're doing, it, like I can't imagine not
You're going
being
out,
on
Sister Betty.
board. I'm going out. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with this phone.
Yeah, now
But
we can hear
I'm
you.
just you can hear me. I'm just telling you, it's just amazing. It is an amazing move because it's not a selfish move. It's a move for his people. So don't you know when you making a move for his people on his behalf and he's first, it cannot fail. It cannot fail. We cannot fail. The 400 years are up, the curse is off of us and it's on the Gentiles. We can't fail. We cannot fail and we cannot stop. So I just want to tell you that I'm on board, and I just pray to the Most High that everybody else that's listening to your voice, listening to you get up 5 days a week, and on air by 6 o'clock. I hope they're paying attention because if they put in half amount of work that you're putting in, you and your Kobe and everybody else that on our panels on our team, we all could be able to build. Because look how many of us that are up. We're up and ready to go. So I want to encourage you guys and everybody on the panel, don't give up. We can't lose. We cannot lose. Thank you guys.
Hallelujah. Yeah, thank you, Sister Betty. Brother Michael, returning back from the motherland, returning back.
The
Brother
Babylon.
Michael, Brother Michael said he didn't want to. He didn't want to come back. He said he was about to miss that flight on purpose.
Brother, let me tell you, it's going to be either the second or third trip, one or the other. I'm not coming back. It's gonna be one or the other. It's gonna be the second or the third. I'm not coming back. I'm gonna do what all I can do here. I got meetings today with some companies that has um, used equipment, construction equipment.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'm meeting with them, and but I'm kind of reluctant because I would like to go with a shirt with a logo on it and have some. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, we're working on all that. Listen, family, we're working on the shop for getting merchandise for the Quest Unite Africa logo, and other branding for the organization. So please, that will be on the website. That will be. I'm not going to say that that's going to be exclusively when you log in, but we're going to get that. We're going to get that. So, but I know what you're saying, brother Michael, because there's some things I want to. Yeah, we need to show the official thing. Now, I'm not going to go as far as to say, look, we're going to need some some hunting vest, that have the Quest Unite Africa logo on it, looking like USAID or
Yeah.
or Red Cross. But we need to show something. We need to show that, look, we are that we are for real, and yes, having that logo attire does. So we're working on that. I know Sister Fatea is working on that. So yes,
I mean, but
we're
it seemed to be working
yeah.
without it, though.
Mhm.
I think that me personally, a shirt with the logo on it. That's just me now. But
Yeah.
outside of that, they still taking on conversations, and I just
Hmm.
want to make sure that I have the correct paperwork
Yeah.
to give to them, and
Hmm.
and then at the same time, I'm trying to find well, I pretty much found it. Um, Companies that has these containers, shipping
Yeah.
containers.
Hmm.
And once it get full here, then I got to figure out now how to get it, down to Florida, and
We'll be straight on that. Yeah, we will straight on that. We're gonna talk on the back end on that one. Yeah,
okay,
and so see, a lot of our people, we already had the solutions. We do. We actually have the solutions. And when we have that container and those containers, once it gets to the continent, it's just gonna be flowing like water. Well, where's
hmm
this thing going? Where's that thing going? How's it? Because you understand, once that happens, then on that end, on the continent, that's what matters. No, I don't think people truly understand. On the continent is where it matters.
yeah, that's exactly.
Because
Yeah.
as brother Michael will tell you, that helps their infrastructure. That helps their economic development. And guess who also that helps? Invariably, that helps us.
Yeah, it opens up a doorway. You remember when Yacoba said, once he see that door open up, he going through it.
Yeah.
Hey, and that's I think that's the whole. No, that's one of the ways we're working it. Just to have a dialogue with the brothers on the continent when they know who we are. So, oh yeah, you friend of Quest Unite Africa? Oh, come on in. And
Mhm.
so I mean that's what we're trying to get to, and it's working. It's working.
So just to let everybody know, this is not the second Exodus.
You're right. I
Yeah,
forgot to say that, brother.
yeah. This is just two sticks coming together. It's the two sticks coming together. Why? Because now we're being able to build muscle. We're being able to be one body.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
I I I think our folks, the Most High, He's an Elohim of order. He truly is. And what we're doing on this, really, it's a grander scale, because even though we're starting in Tanzania, there are other countries that we're going to be going to, other
Mm-hmm.
countries that we're going to be, working this through. Tanzania is where we have the port. That's where the operations.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to get to those countries, you have to build up those roads. You have to build up those the infrastructure, then to be able to get to those other countries. And this is what's desperately needed. They've never had this type of or infrastructure development and economic development. It's been talked about, it's been said. Now they have literally they now have the wherewithal and the mind to get it done. Very first time. Because why? Because they know where their trust lies now. And this trust isn't going to lie on these European nations, on these Western nations. They understand who built these places up. They understand who built up these markets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the rail lines are great, but you still need roads. You still need bridges. You still have infrastructure and equipment that has to be um, unloaded.
Yeah. So I got a, and also I'm seeing where they donated. I'm going to this it's called Micro Center. Where I'm trying to get some hard drives where I can load
Mhm.
video onto them. I know it's gonna be quite a bit, but when I can load a video from YouTube showing how to repair a particular machine, and instead of me just have that, and I could take that to the continent, load this up, I could talk to Coach Roebuck because he has a way of getting it translated into
Yeah.
a local, the local language.
Yes.
And so that's the beauty of that. And then where you can just put a monitor up there, play the video, and then just look at it. And the more you look at it, the more you start to understand, and then you start taking things apart and putting it back together.
Absolutely.
We are some resourceful people, and I'm like, hey, let's just use what we got.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know, but I was in the streets in Dar es Salaam so much till it got to a point, Karis. I knew when I was getting close to the hotel, I started looking at landmarks.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
was
you
like,
start to
oh
recognize
man,
them.
you start to recognize it. All right, man, be safe out there. All right, hey, Mike, zip your pants up. Uh, um, um, and cause I was out there so much till they started coming back. I said, "No, we getting close," until it got to a point where I'm like, "Yeah, I know where I'm at," and I started walking a little bit further and further away from the hotel and knowing how to get back. And it was pretty nice. It's pretty nice. And then just to look at some of the roads and and things, especially around the circles, because that's where majority of issue is at. Because when it rains, it just puddles up, and the water has nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
So you have there's a big project of work that needs to be done. Like you were saying,
Yeah.
it needs to be done.
Yeah. Roads leads to the baseline, the basis of infrastructure. That's how it goes. And then when you get
Hey, turn
roads
the
in,
lights off. Turn the lights off.
you can get sewer lines in. When you get sewer lines in, you can get plumbing and water lines. When you get water lines, right? That's how infrastructure works.
Hmm.
How you get your plumbing in. A centralized a water system area. We take these things for granted, but it's we've seen it. Oh well, this is easy. Well, they really haven't seen it like that, right? How do you do water mains? Who controls water? what the city needs to do, what or how the city contracts out. You know, these are a lot of the utility apparatuses that we have functioned under, but we really didn't take a critical look at it because we really haven't had to. We haven't.
Brother Oral, brother Karis, the thing I was looking at, and I know they came in and colonized Africa, and I think the way I'm looking at it is like it was done on purpose. Of course,
Yes.
when it rains, that water sits there, whether
Hmm.
it's in the city or it's in on the outskirts. But when that water sits, it's a breeding for malaria.
That's correct.
So I'm like, this is. I mean, it seemed like it was done on purpose, brother.
It
I mean,
was.
you know
Yes.
what I'm saying?
Yes. And that's the foolishness because that's how this thing plays on out. They didn't want to have it leveled to have drainage. They didn't want to have the piping and the sewers in to have drainage because they knew that's how they were able to breed diseases.
Mm,
It's not the fact that, we wouldn't be able to take care of that on our own. No. What it is that they've had self-sabotage. Now you think we have that with the Boule, think about what they've had with their people on a much more grander level.
mm,
So now if you come on in there and say, "Hey, we have folks that know how to do, engineering, construction engineering, physical engineering, civil engineering, all that good stuff. Hey, no, we got the survey equipment in here. No, we need to make sure that, this levels on out or, this thing drains on out to here and then we have this here and these pumps are installed there." So why? So you can build those different we can build that capacity.
hmm.
And all we
Because
have to yeah, all we have to do there is just break up the ground. And once we break up that ground, oh man, our people. Well, let's get some concrete on in here. Let's shape this thing on there. Let's build this canal here, right? Let's build this retention ditch right here, right?
exactly.
Okay, well, when we're doing this, all right, now we got a road that can go to this community. Now we have a main surface road artery that can shoot to this here, that can build out a residential or commercial space over here, right? So we can have folks that they can do what? So they can live and shop and have something that's eco-friendly. We can have asphalt that's eco-friendly, that's made from the plastics or the plastic material that then we can recycle.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we can do because we still have to have economic vitality. That's just how this thing goes. But when you're able to have the roads that you can then have what resources and produce and things that are fresh, you have commercial refrigeration and storage, trucks with refrigeration. These are different things. Having transportation so folks can do what can get around, commute, can make money. Having what vehicles and cars that are available so folks can do what can be able to transport and have reliable transportation so they can then create economic development. There's a reason that they don't have it. They don't see how they've been hamstrung, and these folks have been hamstrung. They just can't see how that's happened because when you're in a fishbowl, you don't recognize what they've done to you until you get on out and you see, wow. See, they recognize what's done to us because they can see, wow, y'all act like this, or that's how this thing goes, or this is how they treated you all, or this is, this and that. That wouldn't happen here, or that wouldn't happen there. And then we would turn around and say, look, our infrastructure wouldn't look like this. Because you want to know why? Because we built these cities.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Forget what John Leguizamo said. His folks, sorry, were not in a capacity of what we were doing before the Civil War. They weren't doing what we were doing in the 1920s and the 1930s and the 1940s. They weren't doing those projects. That was us. That was building up all these roads and bridges and only having pennies on the dollar, as the folks that did minimal work would be the ones making all the money. Same structure that we're dealing with today.
Yeah.
And we can do it. We know how to do it. We have the capacity to do it. We have the education to do it. We have the vocational skills to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's nice to be able to come back and then report to our people. And of course, I have to limit what I'm saying on YouTube.
Mm.
But those opportunities are great opportunities. And in case you didn't notice, we are butting up against time.
Yes, we are. I kid you not. Man, do you know, I tried to go into my account because I was going to move some money out because I'm like, all right, I need to move this money. It would not let me in.
Mm-hmm.
It would not let me in. And so I waited like an hour, restart my phone. It was still doing the same thing until the next day.
Yeah.
And then all right, this morning, one of the banks failed, and Chase bailed them out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yes, it's. We are up against time. We are.
Yeah,
we are up against time.
That's not just one, two. That's now I think up to 4 banks. There's going to be more banks failing. This is how it's going to go. It's going to start. It's going to start small first. We saw that in mid to late March, and then they said, "Oh, nothing's happened." No, what they're trying to do is they're trying to do banking operations to be able to survive. There's only going to be a few banks, probably about 4 or 5 banks, just a handful of banks. It's going to be your major banks, and then they're going to allow for the trust again. Because why? Because our banks have to service the money, and these are the only banks that have the capacity to do that. So when they're having like Wells Fargo or Bank of America and Chase and Citi, chances are those are going to be your only banks.
And it's something, brother, how they orchestrate this these events, and it's for they're at least thinking it is for their well-being. But then at the same time, we know what the scriptures say. So I mean, they can be orchestrating. I mean, they can orchestrate anything they want to orchestrate, and they want this to play out this way. And one thing I will say, the people that put those things in place are used to things working out their way. They're used to it. And when the scriptures say, hey, in the book of Revelations, where it said that the whore was talking about she would never see mourning, she would never experience the death of a child and things of that nature. And so they used to things working out the way they intended to be. They're used to it. So now this is when you go. This is where a major flaw in their plan is going to happen. It's going to shock them. Hey, it ain't work out the way we wanted it to work out, but it worked out the way y'all wanted it to work out. And so they want everything to go to the left. Y'all say, nah. Me and my people, we going over here. This is where I'm going to lead my people. You all keep going that way. I got something at the end of the road for you. And so, in right now, it's aligned up just for that. Because right now, when you talk to some brothers and sisters and things, they're not seeing that true light. You know, they still caught up. Some are still caught up in Christendom and things of that nature. And then, but once y'all wakes them up, totally wakes them up, it's a whole different ball game. Then it's a whole different ball game.
Absolutely.
You remember when I was telling you about the loyalty that the brothers and sisters have on their jobs? And can you imagine when y'all start to wake them up? And now you know, it's a known fact. We are some religious people. We are very religious. And it's like we see people they're having a difficult time as a Christian to accept a lot of things that brothers preach from the scriptures as to who you really are. They have a difficult time with that. But then some brothers, they don't have that, you know, that difficult time. But just to, you know, for when Yah wakes you up and for us to be in one accord, woken up all together, Karis, that would be a sight to see. The world would have to recognize who we are, and this notion as why black people can't work together. That type of term will be something in the past, because the moment we get together, that's it. What was that FBI? What was that official? He said that the most fearful thing for the United States is for black people to come together.
Yeah, I believe that was J. Edgar Hoover.
That's one point. And they know this, bruh. They know this. All right. Let it be known that the Africans don't like the African Americans, and we need to put this in place. We got to show that there's a brick wall. This is stuff they orchestrated against you and me.
Mm-hmm.
They orchestrated this, and then they orchestrated. All right, let's bring in some difficulties between the black man and the black woman. Let's keep them down, keep them depressed, keep them in the streets. All right, give this job to this woman here, but she's getting tired of her husband nonsense. But they orchestrated all of this, and then they turn back around and say, "Hey, y'all need to pull up y'all bootstraps." How can you pull up your bootstraps and you cause this nonsense? But at the same time, y'all say, "All right, you doing this to my people? Now I'm gonna let this happen." But trust and believe, I'm coming after you. I'm going to judge my people in accordance. I know what you did to my people, and you went overboard with it. And I'm not sitting there saying all black people are, you know, all of us want to survive. I mean, when you get in that wilderness and you got to walk a mile or so just to go get some water. Now, I remember when we was in Babylon, we just turned on the faucet. We had water. You know, and I know when we look at the Bible, when we talk about the Israelites in Egypt and how they seen what Yah did for them, the 10 plagues, walking on dry land when Yah split it the waters, and then you get on the other side and you complain. And then I heard people say, man, the Israelites were straight tripping. I mean, and why would they do this here and do that there? Because we're reading about their history
Mm-hmm.
or our history. But the thing about it is, we are about to go through the same thing they went through. You got people that don't want to leave the United States, bro. They do not want to leave here.
Mm-hmm.
They think this is the what was it? I think it was the Book of Mormons. They said that the United States is the promised land.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I was when I was on my journey, I said, let me look into this book. And so and I'm reading it, and before I read, I always pray to Yah, lead me the way I. But man, after so many chapters, I was like, no, this book been orchestrated and put together. This is not the Bible. And I know one brother, he was up there preaching that, hey, the Book of Mormon ain't nothing but an apocrypha. No, that ain't no apocrypha, bro. No, and I couldn't get with it. I could not get with it. And it was as if somebody is telling a story from BC when the 10 tribes where Yah, separated himself from the first 10 tribes, and they was in Assyria or whatever. Hey, now how is this possible? And they was giving out dates and everything, and but my spirit was not really truly feeling it, so I had to pull back and I had to leave that alone. But just to see what was this book really truly part of our history, and it does not say anything about our history.
Absolutely. And yeah, nor will it. It's when you're dealing with all the other, things that the other nations try to put together, there's always issues that we can point out, all the other discrepancies that we can point out. And they understand that. They know that as a people that have now been, waking up, that have been understanding what's been happening, all the other nations now are questioning, well, what is it that's going on? How is what's going on? How how will that affect us? And they know it's going to affect them. They realize that it's going to that they will be affected, because they know that once we truly start to understand, we start to stand up, we start to realize, hey, we are the people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, think about that. Here in Florida, they had to have legislation because of us waking up. They had to have legislation. If you didn't know, our history to them is a hate crime.
Boy, I tell you the truth. Yeah, I seen that.
Our history to them is a hate crime. Why is it a hate crime for us to know our history? And now the funny thing is that we are seeing that, and we can kind of laugh, but it's really not funny. It's very sad, because all they're doing to themselves is that they're dooming themselves. They are dooming themselves, because they would rather try to live by whatever power they think of their own arm, and not understand that all they have to do is really repent. That's it. But they didn't want to. We would have healed Babylon, but she refused to be healed. So it looks like this hurricane season is going to be terrible. I guess Miss Betty Bent and I, we're going to, go inland, but she's already inland. I'm going to have to go even farther inland because this hurricane season, as we know, is going to not look very good.
Paris is already not looking good just from the little windstorm we had the other night. It took down trees and everything in my neighborhood. So I'm like, Lord, if that little windstorm did that, what is our hurricane season gonna look like?
Didn't it? I thought I was the only one. I was like, what is going on? I thought I was in an actual hurricane.
I'm telling you, trees was knocked down all around Polk County. So we were in the rain was fierce, and we're like, oh Lord, is this what we have to look forward to in hurricane season?
Yep.
Yeah, it's looking rough. But just like Brother Mike just said, maybe the second or the third trip going down, he's not coming back. My son is still sad today. That he had to come back. He was like, I just don't want to come back. I don't want to come back and see this anymore. So I guess that's a feeling you get when you go on the continent, because he swears, Mom, once you go down, you're not going to want to come back. I'm like,
No, you don't. No, you do not. I mean, me and Arthur, we talked. We tried to get together, but Arthur was making moves. He was speaking with the lawyer and everything. But we talked. We tried to get to, because when he was busy, and I thought I was freed up, and then I had to talk with Karis and the oral. Then I, get caught up into a meeting. I said, man, I'm in a meeting. I said, once I free up, hey man, we got to get together, because we was not far from one another. I think we was like less than a mile apart.
wow.
Because he said, Mike, do you see so and so? So I said, yeah, you know that. He said, we man, no. And then the people in the building said, yeah, you about a mile away from that beach.
Wow.
And but we, I don't know what it is. We just kept, because we both was on a mission.
Absolutely.
And we was trying to, hey, let's meet up, brother, and things of that nature. And because I ran into this young brother there. He's a diamond miner, and I said, "Hey man, I got this diamond miner here. You want to meet with him?" He said, "Man, no doubt." And then, so we tried to get that together, and could not get together. It's just like somebody was stopping us from getting together.
You know what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know what it was. But look, like I said earlier, ain't no force in hell or on this earth gonna be able to stop us. We are a resilient people. We're not somebody just to stop just because one thing happened or two things happened. Once our minds are made up, Hebrews like this, no, you can't stop this. This is a movement by the Most High. So y'all didn't meet up that time, but like you said, he's going down again, and I'm quite sure you or Karis or
Mm-hmm.
will be going down. I'm going down, so not going to be able to stop it, because we won't be turned away.
No,
we won't. No. Yeah.
And I kid you not. I mean, going back to the airport and all that stuff. I resented the flight because I knew it was gonna be a long one, and it just, I had to get back. I got my son. I got to take, find, get back together and everything. But I talked to him like the next day. I said, "Look here, man. We got to do something. I got to get your passport. I can get you a passport, and things." And I said, next time you go travel with me, you go see what's in Africa, because he don't know. He don't know. And
they don't know.
They do not.
You didn't know what to exactly expect either. So this was new territory for you also.
Oh yeah, because when I kid you not, Sister Ben, I'm gonna tell you, it was like 2016. And when I tell you this, bro, Karis and Sister Betty, I just had an overwhelming sensation of going to Africa.
Wow.
And I'm like, and I started getting on YouTube, you know, and things, just, Googling different places in Africa. And I started to look at our people a lot different. And I mean, and then here come what was it, 2019 year return?
Yeah, 29.
Oh, shoes. That came in. I was like, oh yeah, I got to get to Africa somewhere.
Some kind of way.
Right. And I just had and been having that ever since. And so that's why I say it's going to be either the second or third. All right, Karis, I'll see you later, brother. Karis, head back to Florida. No, I don't see myself coming back, because the work I'm going to do right now for the remainder of this May, I'm all about equipment. I'm talking to medical centers. I go into the medical centers about every day, and I see all of this equipment that they have in a room put away. It's just sitting there. 70-inch TVs and all that stuff, heart monitor equipment. And they say, oh, that's they call it e-waste. E-waste, electronic waste.
Wow.
So, but this is the thing. You just can't throw that equipment away. You got to take it to an e-waste facilities, and they charge you for dropping it off.
You got to pay.
You have to pay. Like if you let's say hypothetically that your TV went out. Did you know it's against the law for you to throw that TV out?
No, I did not.
It's against the law for you to throw a TV out. It's electronic waste. And so, but some people, what they do, they open up a business. They'll take like I did one company. I went and picked up the e-waste, and I charged them. It was like $2,000, but it wasn't a whole lot of stuff. And then I take it over to this particular company. They'll take it, because what they'll do, they'll go inside the TVs and all of the equipment and pull out the gold.
Wow.
That's all. And the plastic, they break it up and try to sell it to recycle the plastic through some recycling company. And that's what they do.
Wow, that's a business in itself.
It's a business within itself.
Absolutely.
It's gold in every phone, computer. There's gold in it. Wow. I mean, it's not a lot just in one, but you can once you really truly start to know what you boom, and that stuff, it starts to add up. Because I know in Ghana they had a problem with Japan bringing their e-waste there and dumping e-waste into the neighborhoods, the poor neighborhoods. And the guy he went on YouTube and he started showing. He said we got problems in the soil because of the e-waste. They just come and dump their stuff there and go back to Japan.
Wow.
They rape Africa, and at the same time get the resources and dump the trash back off in Africa.
Wow.
It's a trip.
System.
Yeah.
A wicked system all the way around. All the way around. This is a wicked system that we're trapped in. And I mean, like you were saying earlier, Brother Michael, you know how they pin one against the other. But if we don't have to go far back. It's that same Willie Lynch thing. He said it was going to last for hundreds of years, and it's still in effect today.
Mm-hmm.
It's still in effect today. It has not, and our people won't wake up and see it. They won't. It's a dramatic effect that happened to us, and if you think about it, it's somewhat of a mental I don't know what to say, but
blockage. Mental blockage.
It mentally, because you got to think about it. It's something like diabetes or high blood pressure. It's in our DNA. The wickedness, the Psalms 83 of these people It's the wickedness of them that it actually is a part of our DNA. It is a part of our everyday life to be like this towards each other because it's been going on for hundreds of years. So we really can't get too mad at our family because
Yeah.
this is what we've been taught. It's like being in the school system
Mm-hmm.
that they set they write the curriculum, they set how things proceed from their curriculum. They change it when they want to change it. They put the books that they want to be put in, they take the books out that they want to take out. And if nobody's paying attention, they're rewriting the curriculum sit down for our Hebrew kids right now today. It's not just about CRT. They're just talking about it now, but this is a generational thing that they're doing to our people. They're rewriting his story, and
Mm.
erasing and changing our story because they are ashamed of his story, their story. They are ashamed of what they are and who they still are, so they can rewrite it and recreate the curriculum to make themselves not look like the demonic fallen angels that they are. It's going to be better for them, but it's not going to work since we started on this path of knowing who we are and who we belong to. You can't do that anymore. So what Satan is going to do, he's just going to come another way. Because remember, Satan in the book, he described he disguised himself
As an
as
angel of light.
a
Mm.
messenger, from the Most High, and tricked Eve. But Eve already knew what she was doing was wrong. Then Satan made Eve do an oath with him that she would then give it to her husband. So Satan started speaking through Eve, convincing Adam what a great fruit this was, all the knowledge it was going to bring. It is the same thing. It is the same thing, but do you expect your pastor with his 501c to stand up and tell these people you're living the same curse? You are
Mm.
living in the same curse. He just have every avenue to deliver his wicked message. He have the TVs, the music, the radio, the celebrities. He has everything at his disposal. The one thing that he do not have is Yahuwah. He
And
don't
that's
have.
the most dangerous one.
That's the
The most
day.
dangerous ones. Oh, I
What
mean, for them, that is.
for them it is.
Yes, for them, yes.
They intended on repenting and repairing with their own strength, that they're actually going to do it. No, what they do, they reinvent themselves and they get more and more wickeder. That's all they do. They just get more and more wickeder. That's why the Most High already know. He know they're not. He's gonna force their hand, like he forced Pharaoh. He's gonna do the same thing to this nation. Pharaoh didn't want to let them slaves go, but guess what? When the Most High is there running it, in charge of it, you gotta move. He's over us right now. Why you think we gotta move?
Making it
Because he's
uncomfortable for us.
He's
Making it uncomfortable.
making it uncomfortable for us. We
Mm-hmm.
sit down, can't do nothing about somebody shooting our son in the head. Like I said to Covenant yesterday, we're sitting down, our blood pressure, our stress level. Every time we see something like that happen to our brother, our sister, our son, our grandson, it does something to us, and they know that it makes us sick because right now we don't have that strength. So they know by doing this to us, they disrupt our frequency.
Mm.
They disrupt our frequency whenever they do that to us. Because whenever you kill one of us, for most of us, it's like you killing all of us. We feel it. We can't even sleep because of it. It disrupts us. It disrupts our lives, our mental, our physical. It disrupts us.
Mm.
That's just like during slavery when you raping the wife or the son or the daughter and the husband or the brother, the mother. We gotta sit there and witness that rape, that beating, that hanging, that feeding them to the gators. We got to sit there and witness it, and we have no strength. It is the same thing now. It's just done in a different strategy. Satan, Lucifer just came in a different strategy. And the people that are not on this walk, they don't understand what I'm even saying. They can't comprehend what it is I'm saying. It's the same thing. You have no strength. So that is your warning to come up out of her. Come back to Yahuwah. Come back because you got no strength. All our strength is in him. Whenever we do this big time intercessory prayer as a nation, as a unit coming together, he is in that. He's not in that stupid march you doing out there. He ain't in that big mega church you got out there. He's right here on the ground level with us right now because we have finally turned back from our wicked ways, took the plugs out of our ears and the scales off of our eyes, and now we see this oppression that they continue to have on us even in 2023. But if you don't come up out of her, you still gonna be worrying about the next football game, the next basketball game, the next movie that they have coming out. That's all you gonna worry about. The next car, the next house.
Distractions.
So connected to Babylon. You can't see it. But see, we feeling it now. We feeling it. Every time blood is shed, we feel it. We feel it so we feel it. Like my pressure is up all the time because I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the need to come out. See, when we come out of Babylon, it's a new birth for us. We're breaking up out of the bag. We're breaking out of the bag. And see, you broke out. Michael and Arthur broke out when y'all was able to put y'all head outside of the bag and see home. See, that's why you got that feeling that you got, because you was allowed to break out of the bag just to stick your head out and smell the air and have the sun shine on you. You felt what it's like to be free in a freer society.
Yeah.
People who are stuck here in Babylon just standing talking about a flea doctrine. They don't understand the meaning of feeling free. I mean, that type of freedom, we don't know what it is. So that's why we revel and they stay in Babylon and they're happy with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're right about that, sister. I mean, shucks. You got me kind of high now, Sister Betty Ben. I mean,
well, that's what I do. That's what I do. I told you in college, one thing I did, Brother Michael, I always got an A+ on speaking. Always. Because one thing about me, I told you now, I can speak and I can speak pure truth. And when I'm speaking, it's pure truth, what I spit out, and I back up what I say. So that's why you're moved, because the ruach that's in me, I share it. I don't put my light under a bush or under a bucket. No, I put mine on the mountain.
I mean, when it's all over said and done, sister, you're right. I mean, one thing, they do not want people like you, Karis, myself, Don, Fast Nickel. No. We are the danger to them.
The danger.
We're the danger for them. No. Shucks.
Let's also consider that. Let me before I have you go on, Brother Don P. We also have to understand what was done to us in those 400 years was that we learned how to distrust each other. And we learned, okay, I want to do things my way. I want to go about it my way. And when you have that individualistic, this is what I just talked about earlier today. So it shouldn't be a surprise of building trust. When you have an individualistic mindset, which is what we have here in the West, those individualistic mindsets, they always fail. And you have to understand, on the other spectrum, you have more of a collectivist. Because why? Because people benefit. It's a mutual benefit to do what? To work together, to work with each other, to do and build within each other. And guess what happened? We had that in Tulsa, and then they destroyed it. So it's not like we've never had that type of mindset before. Matter of fact, I would argue that is our mindset, but we've just been so conditioned to not work with that mindset that we want to do what they do, and then we end up destroying ourselves because we get trapped into that and into that fallacy. It's a logic fallacy. Wouldn't it be easier to come together and build than it would be to try to do things, sporadically, onesie twosies? That's why. That's
Mm.
why on the continent they don't. They want to see what's your organization. Did you? I mean, did you think about that? We had a great reception from Sebastian when he said, "What's your organization?" And then he saw all the folks that was there because he saw what, that there was cohesion and there was unity. The onesie twosie stuff, it doesn't work. It's never worked. Tell me in the Bible where it was onesie twosies. Even Christ had what? He had 12 disciples.
Mm.
He sent out what? The 72. But we haven't learned how to build as a family. We just haven't. Not in these last 50 years because they've literally destroyed that. So yeah, we all have great ideas. But cultivating ideas within our family, that's what makes those ideas reality. That's what brings things to fruition. And that's where, look, I'm going to tell you, these folks in these other countries, they don't look at you with you being an individual. Cuz why? Cuz individually, that's not their culture. That's not. You come with a group of people, oh, they respect you more. They see that there's value in what? In a community. We just never understood the value in the community because this backwards nation thinks that, oh, you only have value in yourself. And the more you value yourself, the more people respect you. And that is totally wrong. If you don't believe me, look at BRICS. BRICS was
Mm.
literally, they valued each other's country, and then that became formidable. You literally have a polarization between the West and the East because of how they see themselves as working together and not working apart. Divided, we fall. And we have fallen because we've been divided and we keep practicing that division amongst ourselves. Brother Don P.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you know what, Curious, is what's really interesting is that even if they have conflict, you don't see it. Most people don't know that China and India are fighting right now, but they're BRICS. See, man, this weekend has been very eye-opening. Hello, Sister Betty. I love you. Um, I got to spend time with my sister this weekend talking to her. And, you're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. When they see us come as a group that has all these names behind it, it's like, oh, okay. This is not one individual. This is a movement, a formidable movement that we need to pay attention to. More than pay attention to, heck, they're offering themselves. So how do we benefit from them? So when they see you guys coming, they see it as a benefit to their country. It's just one more thing that they don't have to deal with an outside entity. So when you come correct and you ain't shucking and jiving, they're gonna pay attention to you. I've had some really great conversations this weekend with people and what we're trying to do. And my nephew said something to me yesterday. I was like, oh, let me look into that. And so I'm gonna deal with that. So, Kiris, I need to talk to you before I deal with the consulate, before I deal with the Tanzanian consulate here. Need to
Yeah,
know who you're dealing with and stuff like
because
that, so I can
because
put
to
you
be
guys into play too. I can put you
okay,
guys
well
into
that's what
play
I'm
too
saying.
when I meet with them.
Well, that's why if we build together, we get things done smoother and more efficiently and effectively. Do you
Right.
get what I'm telling you? And that's why
Absolutely.
in this, it's an alignment. Nobody's taking on anybody else's stuff. It's an alignment. How do we align together? Aligning
Right.
together is really the best policy because everyone has goals, everyone has initiatives. If you show up to these Zoom meetings, you understand everybody has an initiative, but you can't go anywhere if the roads aren't built. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You can't make a
Exactly.
business if the roads aren't there. You can't build a community if the roads aren't there that you can even build the dump trucks. So this is where
Exactly.
we have to be smart about the arrangements and having to deal with each other because I understand this is the first time we've actually had to deal with each other outside of them folks. And we
Exactly.
Very
have
first
and
time.
we the very first time and we don't know what it is to do that because we always try to have some sort of contempt within ourselves. We may not even realize that we're having it or displaying it or we're showing it, but we aren't very trustworthy to trust each other. Is
They
this
did a
person
number on
in
us.
this organization, can they help me do what I would like to do? Can they this is what they do in their communities. And they never and the thing is, that's how they do it. That's how they play. Hey, we have a nonprofit, we have a NGO, we have this, we have that we can go to, that we can work under. And that's how they
Yep.
make inroads.
Yep.
But this is the very first
Yep.
time we're doing it, so we don't even understand the functionality. So then we just side eye. Well, I don't. No, bring it together, bring it to the table. But I'm going to tell you this. Yeah, they're looking for homes for our people. They're really not looking for homes, but we are. I mean, now get that. Now understand what's the social benefit. You get what I'm saying? All right, so you have more homes on a, let's just face it, a slim to non-existent power grid that you're going to have to be bringing in solar panels, and then on top of that you're going to ask a chief to give you land and then say, well, there's a mutual benefit in you giving us land. Well, we want to build here. Okay, well, what are you doing for my community? Oh, we're going to get to that. What do we always look for? We want that first. We always want what? We want that. Well, I want to see what's in it for me, right? That's the what's in it for me mentality. And then you expect the other nations on that continent to not have the same? No, 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 no. No. They're dealing with us. They're not dealing with them folks. Because you understand, we're not putting a gun to their head. We're dealing with family. Do you remember that Joseph had to work under Laban? There's a work first before a benefit. And we gotta we have to come out of that thought process of Babylon to where we want the benefit without the work. Didn't the Most High say that when you even read in the first 2, 3 chapters of Genesis, he saw the work and it was good. That means that there's a work before a what? A satisfaction. And we can't even, it's sad, and I'm generalizing, but our people, we don't understand the work first. And then we say, well, why didn't it work on that? Or why isn't this? And why isn't this that? I want to build this. I want to build that. Well, what do they want first? They need roads first. They need those roads. They're telling us what they need. They tell us what they want. Okay, well, guess what? That road is a beneficial. It's a benefit for everybody. Because why? Because that's the capacity to do what? To get your movers, to get your dump trucks, to get your rollers, to get your construction material, so you can have those machines that level out the roads, that will grade the roads, that will make the roads conducive for heavy machinery, especially if you're trying to build homes in a more efficient capacity. Because nobody's going to build a home by hand. No, you need to have a crane so you can have what? So that roof can be what? Can have drainage. And that drainage can then go to the yard, and then that yard can then be drained so it goes into a sewer system. And then that sewer system has to flow to somewhere. It has to be on the main conduit. This is how this thing happens.
Putting minds together, that's where the strength come in at.
That's correct. And I'm not trying to be here to lecture or yell at folks. That's not my intent, but I want us to make sure that we have to understand what they think. That's the biggest thing. We do, and I'm going to say this, as a people, when it comes to understanding our people on the continent, we do lack a level of empathy and sympathy. We really do. Well, I want to do what I want. I want to get this. I want. I always have to say, what does that impact look like for them? How do they interpret that? Ask Michael and Oral. I always ask, how do they interpret this? What do they, and listen to them. They're going to tell you what you want to hear at first to not hurt your feelings. And then they tell you what the real truth is. After they know, okay, I'm really not going to hurt your feelings. So let me just explain this thing to you. Let me just tell you what we really need, how we really need to get to where we need to get to. And that's what happens. All right, you want to build, because they look at your end goal of you got the house and everything else. So what's in it for us? What do we benefit? Oh, don't worry about it. We're just going to throw up a compound and have everything self-efficient. Because you want to know why? Because they've seen that before with the Indians. They've seen that before with the Chinese. What makes you any different? So technically, you've already failed before you started, because it was a failure to understand what it was that they have experienced. And I'm not saying this is a failure. I'm just generalizing this in the context of having this understanding. So we have to understand what it is that we're trying to maneuver through. We're maneuvering through hurt and pain and neglect. We can't just say, I'm going to just buy this and build this. No, there's a little bit more nuance to this. This is why the Most High did this. He had to have us show our face with literally pennies. Look, we're here and we want to help. And by the Most High's grace, we're going to get this thing done because we're only here because of him. And then what happened? We got hooked up with this. We got hooked up with that. And I'm gonna say this. For Quest to Unite Africa, we have a vision. And we're going by that vision. Because it's not our vision, it's the Most High's vision. Whatever you may have, put it to the background. We got to build first. You don't fight in a war and say, I'm going to set up shop in the middle of a war. That never happens. Would you want to go to Ukraine right now and set up shop in Ukraine? No. There's a couple things you have to do to ensure that you have enough peace to accomplish what you want to accomplish. To ensure that the infrastructure is there to accomplish what you want to accomplish. To ensure what? That you have enough trust among your neighbors, among your brothers and your sisters to accomplish what you want to accomplish. Does the scriptures not say that Judah will no longer vex Ephraim and Ephraim will no longer vex Judah? We may not think that what we're doing is vexing, but we have to consider these things.
Interesting. Do you know the mere presence of Americans with money can be vexing to these individuals? Especially you come into their country and you're making
Brother Don,
moves,
how many times have you been to the country, Brother Don? How many times have you been over to the continent?
I have not been to the continent. I have been other places, but I haven't been to the continent.
Okay. So therefore,
but I know that the world sees us differently.
Okay, well, therefore, here's the thing. We have to be on the ground and see what they're saying first. We have to.
Well, that's absolutely.
And I understand what you're saying. Yeah, the dollar, we come with a capacity of the dollar, right? And that I look at it like this. We're coming with the capacity of a dollar, but that dollar is diminishing. If you don't see,
Right.
That's the headlines. That was the very first headline for May 1st, a bank failing. And now there's still other banks struggling. So even though we may have a dollar, what else do we have? The only thing that we have is really the relationship with each other. And we haven't really understood the value of that. You have to build with each other. We have to trust with each other. We have to move with each other. We have to, it's a coordination. The very first thing before I even opened my mouth about this, of what we want to do, I was like, okay, well, we want to go into Tanzania, but the main focus is going to be the continent. We sat down with T3andMe. We sat down with Stepping Stones to Home and Journeying with us. And we explained to them, look, this is the vision. And this isn't our vision. This is the vision that the Most High is doing. And all we're doing is just walking in it.
Right.
That's all we're doing.
Right.
Now, everybody has a plan for what they want to do. Everybody. But you better understand that vision comes first, because it's not our plan, it's his plan. So anything that we try to plan is going to come to naught, because it will be outside the Most High's grace. It'll be outside of his order. And have we not seen that the countless times, we're learning how to be Judah again. There's one thing to say you know your identity, and there's another thing to understand what that truly means. See, we've been saying our identity for these last 5, 6, 7 years, but we never truly understood how is that empowered? How does that work?
I have been this weekend, man, I have been on the phone because you're right. If it doesn't come from the Most High, you're spinning your wheels. And as a marketing and sales professional, I developed a term that must be examined before any situation is called with them. With them. What's in it for me? That's the question you have to answer before you walk into any meeting. Because at some point, they're going to make you address that question.
Well, here's a different dynamic, and I want to stop you there. Here's a different dynamic. What's in it for the Most High? We have to get away from this me stuff. We have to get away from this. Look, I didn't even want to. I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to tell you this is why I'm a proponent of this. I only do things to glorify His will. Even if I had to not have a job for a little bit that pays a constant salary, I'm doing this for His will. Me has nothing to do with anything.
You misunderstood what I said.
No, you said it. You said it. So I'm going to say, no, you said what's in it for me. Side of the table. No, you said it, and I'm going to tell you it, and I'm going to term it, because this is my channel, and you came up on my platform, so thank you. But I'm going to dissect it, and I dissect. I'm an operational oratorical surgeon. And I'm going to tell you what's in our hearts. Because what happens with our tongues just express what our hearts are. And we have to get this out of our heart. No, you said it. You misunderstood on the replay.
You misunderstood what I said.
You said the
I was talking about the other side of the table. I was talking about the other side of the table. They're asking the question, what's in it for me? You need to be able to answer that when you step to the table, because that's on their mind. That's what I was telling you. As a marketing and sales professional, I have to answer that question for my customer before I even go into the meeting. Their question is, what's in it for me?
Yeah,
I can't answer that question.
That was explained I think 5 minutes ago, when I was talking about who's the main audience in this. Yeah,
right,
we may want a benefit. We may want a benefit, but at the end of the day, if all our family can't benefit, then who does it really benefit? You get what I'm saying?
I was agreeing with you. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah. So here's what we have to. What I'm trying to say is, look, we have to be able to be strategic in our thinking, because it's the strategy. We want to operate. That's no problem to operate, but we have to have a strategy before we operate. That's all I wanted to make sure that we have a good understanding of this. And now we're operating because we're under a strategy. Now we're looking at things moving because we're under a strategy. And as we see the strategy and the operation unfolding, then there's going to be little tactical things that we will be able to build on, the little tactics that we'll be able to work under. All right, I'm not gonna spend too much time here because I got to get moving. Brother Fastniggle, then Brother Yakol, and then I gotta shut this on down.
Good morning. I don't have much to say. I just, as you know, Brother Don P knows, I was away in New York for the weekend for my 40th year high school reunion. So I was out of the mix. But while I was sitting in the airport, I was listening to Brother Yakova's message, and the only one thing I'll say, which kind of aligns to what you're saying, is where he was playing that video where the gentleman was talking about how Africans need to stop relying on, Europe and other countries for their help because they rape them in return in terms of taking their resources or charging them 1,000% interest. So, like you're saying, it's we having to help them, or basically the people helping themselves instead of always asking for outside help.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I think it's kind of funny how this whole Cleopatra movie, now it looks like Netflix and Jada Pinkett Smith are going to get sued, and why I find that funny is because anything that ever goes against the white supremacy agenda is where they attack and go after. If it has nothing to do with that agenda, they don't care about it. But once it does, it's a firestorm. But that's all I'll have to say. Like I said, it's good to hear you guys, and be well, be blessed for today.
All right,
Shalom, brother.
Thank you, Brother Fasicle. Brother Yakol, shalom.
Shalom, family. How's everybody? And I'm the
Okay.
same as Fast. I want to piggyback off of something that you said about the roads. The roads here, if it's not a main road, they are horrible. As soon as you get off the main road, there aren't too many roads that are paved. So the roads are, imagine a dirt road, but not only a dirt road, imagine a dirt road with huge potholes in them. So imagine during the rainy season, imagine how much food the citizens lose because they can't
Yes,
they can't even
Absolutely.
exactly.
out. And even then, the main roads, once you get off the main road, sometimes you have to travel 30, 45 minutes, an hour on these type of roads. So people are losing out on income. The money that they could be sending to pay their school fees, pay medical bills, they're losing out. And so these roads will help everything, especially agriculture, tremendously. And the last thing I'm going to say is I took a bus from Uganda to Tanzania. The road that goes to the border from Uganda to Tanzania, horrible. I mean, horrible. So imagine it's a 2-lane road, but the potholes are so bad. You have to go about 5 or 10 miles per hour because one side of the road is paved and one side is not.
Mm-hmm.
You go about a mile later, then that side of the road that you were doing is not paved and you have to cross over. Now imagine, and this is a major road. So a lot of people have to travel at night when the traffic is not as bad. It is horrible. Like I literally sit to myself and think, they don't care. Like, how can you not care from one place to another? Your country is losing money. Your country is losing money because you're not investing in the type of infrastructure. So, brother, I'm just piggybacking off of what you said. You are 100%. What we're doing, what you guys are doing, man, it's amazing. And I praise the Most High for you. Hallelujah.
Hey, let me ask you something, brother. How long did that trip take? How long from Uganda to Tanzania on the bus?
Oh, so I went from Uganda I was in Kampala. And I went from all the way to Moshi, which is Mount Kilimanjaro. Took me a day and a half.
Woo! Good gracious almighty.
And then what a lot of people don't know yet is the major roads. Not only do they have potholes, but they have speed bumps. So imagine, and it's to the point that the bus drivers, they don't care. So they're driving over the speed bumps at 80, 90 miles per hour.
Mm-hmm.
And, and the last thing I'm gonna say is a lot of people don't know this, but the bus systems are like NASCAR. They bet. There's a betting system, and you can bet on the buses. So the buses will start off at the same time. And if you're going to the same destination, so say if I want to go from, just say if I want to go from like Dar es Salaam to, like, there's always a 5:30 bus with all the buses that are going from Dar es Salaam to Moshi, and they track like the first person to get to their destination. They obviously get some type of money, some type of monetary prize for that, and it is a real thing. So you have buses passing each other, like going full speed. Imagine ongoing traffic. The ongoing traffic literally has to pull over to the side of the road. Buses on the roads.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and that's just more of a need to have proper infrastructure because it's wild.
Yes.
It's crazy. It's nuts.
Wow.
Hallelujah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no, thank you. Brother Minister Rick.
Yeah, how is everyone this morning?
Yeah,
you
how
hear
you
me?
doing, brother?
Yeah, we can hear you. Shalom.
Yeah, Shalom. I was listening to the program. I was having technical issues, but I was listening to the program yesterday, the group meeting, and I was very impressed. But I've been going to my scripture and following what I think for those of us, we don't want to engender a spirit of fear. We have to be careful, even when we're warning our people, because the fear doesn't serve. I'm like Quest United because you're operating out of love, power, and a sound mind. Right now, we don't have the logistics. If everybody was able to flee, and people want to say flee, that flee doctor. If everybody was able to flee now, it can't handle it. There are two things. You were in the military. The logistics is one thing, and then the infrastructure there, and you're building it. But I wanted to point out the people that have tricked us in the trick bag have operated out of two things all these years: the Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution, thesis, antithesis, synthesis, and things. They're running these games on us to engender fear, a reaction of fear, and then they get what they want. The other trick bag they've operated out of us is on divide and rule. So division. So we push back. So I just want to go historically and really quickly. When you're not able to leave Babylon, your job is to stand in Babylon. And what I mean by standing, Babylon is always threatened. They threatened Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. They threatened Daniel, and our response should be like, yeah, we can talk about, oh, they can change the dollar. Yeah, you got a fiery furnace. Yeah, you could throw me in with the lions, but and I got our Elohim is able to deliver us from everything you can do. But even if he doesn't, we will not bow. And when you make that stand, your protection is always there. The thing is that we're bending over in Babylon to Babylon. We're sacrificing our babies to Baal. So that's where there's still a work in getting our people to stand in Babylon and tell everybody leave, right? Because right now, everybody leave now. You right, we would mess up Africa. Now we're talking about the kingdom of God. Well, the Messiah said the kingdom is within you. So when you can't physically move to Africa, we need to be building up the kingdom within you and learning and doing that and standing in Babylon, know how to stand. See, a lot of people despise that term Christian because that was what the Gentiles called. They came up it literally means little Christ. And the reason why they said that because they were doing the works of the Messiah. We got all these little Christ coming around here, little Christ coming around here doing this stuff like that. And it was derisive term, and the Gentiles took it and ran with it and perverted it. But before that, we knew ourselves as the way. Well, we talked about the way, but it was truly the way. It was the way we live, move, have our beings, the way we eat, the way we handled our money, the way Paul was running around going from congregation to con taking money. We haven't got that now. We have to rebuild that, the way and the kingdom with us until you can physically remove to the kingdom. So I think we have to be careful. You could be a watchman and sound the alarm, but don't fearmonger, because when we're warning our people and we begin to sound like the people that were pushing the lollipop. And that was they were doing. They motivated people to do what they wanted to do by talking about all these terrible things are going to happen to you, and you've got to go. And the solution is over here. Get that lollipop. You know, the you got to be afraid of the little disease with the big name, and the solution is get the lollipop. I don't want to come to our people like that, but we need to build our people here, build the knowledge of our people here, continue to do that, and get us to stand. I'm getting more into listening to Dante Fortson, because our people, a lot of times our people don't know. So if you just scaring a bunch of sheep that don't have shepherds, that don't want to know, they've had poor shepherds in the Christian church, poor shepherds in Mohammedan, poor wherever they were, they had terrible shepherds, and and understand them and get used to following the Ruach Hakodesh, because the Spirit. So based on what I heard in this forum, I'm reformulating what should I be doing, where is my place, and how I can do. But I think you guys have the right pathway. You are coming from love, power, and a style 9. God has not given us the spirit of fear. We can't be afraid of Babylon. There were the people that we had that stood in Babylon, that they weren't fair. Yeah, for their lives. Yeah, okay. Even if we perish, we're not going to bow down. But we got to tell our people, yes, whatever they got planned this summer, this next 6 months, our Elohim is able to deliver it from them. But we got to stand on it. So that's basically it. There's a lot of things.
My phone had- Man, shucks. What's wrong with this thing?
And that's it. That's the way.
Yeah, you're cutting on out, brother, Minister. All right, I appreciate that. And I appreciate everyone's comments on the panel. So, but I'm gonna have to get rolling. I actually have quite a few things I got to get accomplished today. So, yeah, it's hard because we're all coming together. We're all building trust. That's the that's the hardest thing. We haven't learned how to do this. This hasn't been taught to us. To do it as a people, that hasn't been taught to us. Matter of fact, it's been discouraged. So now we're going up against forces that never wanted to see this come together. But the greatest thing is we serve an awesome Father who sits high, who looks low, who's able to provide for us a way. There's always a way. They know that there's always a way. And now we're seeing that in action. So thank you for everyone on the panel today. Let me put you all in the back because I got to get this. I got to close up shop real quick. So, but yeah, no, I definitely appreciate you all's time. So, family, with that said, yeah, most high willing, we'll be on tomorrow. We have to pray for our people. We have to pray for our people. And there are other channels on out there that's bringing content of, different facts and things of that nature, which is awesome. I would always encourage you to check them on out. BHITB, Benia Israel, definitely Teo, Sister Shonda, Sister E, Be Woke Now with Pastor Kelly. Those are, look, and there's many more. Sister Maria, Sister Holder, Pastor Rick Fletcher. The list goes on and on because we've grown tremendously since 2020, literally since 2020. So yes, family. But I have to get up on out of here. I got to get some things taken care of. I'm not gonna lie. I feel a lot more refreshed than I was last week. Last week I was dragging a little bit, but listen, it's the Most High's favor and His grace. So yeah, almost 3 hours. So yeah, I got to get rolling. I got to get things to do. I got to get these phone calls made. Please visit quest2nightafrica.org, family. Believe it or not, your gifts do matter. Don't think it's a little thing. They do matter. They absolutely matter. So, family, yes, continue to keep us up in prayer. And to be honest, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know how much longer we have. I really don't. And the thing is that we're not the ones saying it. They're the ones that's telling us. Who would have thought in this awakening, they're the ones that's letting the cat out the bag? But we were declaring that. We're saying there's going to be a time that they're going to be showing us when this actual time frame is. When the time frame, they're showing us, family. And it's actually scary because we can actually see it to the month. But when it's going, the more we see it, it's going to show you to the week, and it's going to be shown to the day. So that's why I always ask the Most High, give us spiritual eyes to see and give us spiritual ears to hear. Yeah, Windwalker, I see it. But they're the ones that's saying it. Hallelujah. Oh, they're the ones that's saying it. So with that, family, Most High willing, I'll be back on tomorrow. And again, thank you for your donations, your gifts, especially to Covenant Awakenings. I definitely appreciate that support, family. This is all I know is when they posted things going down in Crimea, I said April's is gonna be interesting. They ended April in a bang. That was that red line. Not to be outdone, that was that red line. So we're gonna be seeing some things happening. Yeah, brother Windwalker. I thought I had your number. Just send me an email regarding it, and I'll give you a call later. All right, I'll talk to you all later. Most High willing tomorrow. So with that, family, shalom, salama, siemi, shalom, peace and blessings. Yasharal.